Readers, I want you to do something for me. You'll need to have your reading notebook handy. Think of a person who you used to see as being one way and who now seems totally different. Like, I have a friend, Andrew, who I thought at first was uptight and neurotic, but he's actually a lot of fun to be around. So start with this sentence. I used to think so and so was this way, but now I realize he or she is actually this other way. And go ahead and jot for the next 90 seconds. So now I have a harder question. Think back to that person and ask yourself, did the person change or did your perspective on the person change? Chances are good that it's your perspective that changed. So, will you think for a moment about why your perspective changed on that person? Readers, today I want to teach you that often when you think a character or a person has changed, it's really your perception of that character that has changed. Ask yourself, what new information has led to my change of perspective on a character? Let's try some of that work out now. Let's do an investigation. I'm going to tell you right away that the author does a lot of work in this text to lead readers to think this is a bad kid, a troublemaker. So even if you might think differently, you might be a very sympathetic reader. Can you ask yourself, why would most readers think this boy is bad? What details does the author give that shape people's perspective that makes many people think of the character as trouble? Now I want you to watch the first 25 seconds of the video Be Brave from the lesson platform. But make sure that you pause and only watch the first 25 seconds for this first part of the lesson. Now I want you to jot some notes from those first 25 seconds. What details has the author inserted that led a person to think this is a bad kid? He's trouble. So, readers, did you notice how sneaky the boy looks and how disappointed his mother seems when she closes her eyes? And the spray painting of the graffiti. You're noticing how the author layered all sorts of details to deliberately lead us to think a certain way about the characters. Let's go on with the investigation. I'm going to alert you that your thinking about this boy will change. Can you be extra alert to the exact moment when your thinking changes? And be ready to say and think about what details lead you to change your thinking. If you've seen this video before, then be extra alert to the first small details the author inserts, details that other students might miss. Go ahead and go back to the lesson platform and watch the video from the beginning, and this time you can watch it all the way through to the end. Take a minute to jot in your reading notebook. What for you was the moment when you had to rethink? What led you to see the boy differently? So you may have thought that it was the moment when the boy took the flowers. That action wasn't consistent with our earlier perception of him as a bad kid, was it? Or maybe it was a moment when the mother's face changed. For me, it was a moment when we see the mural, what the boy had been painting. Readers, this work is fascinating because it shows how in some stories, the character doesn't change. It's your perspective of the character that changes. When readers have sudden realizations, those are called epiphanies. You'll know you've had an epiphany when you feel a kind of aha moment. Readers, this isn't thinking that only works in Be Brave, though this is a particularly well crafted story. You're reading a lot of well written stories where the author leads you to think certain ways about your characters. Here's the thing: the way your perspective changes on a character won't always be just like it was in Be Brave. It may be something more subtle, like we're coming to know the boy's dad better in How to Transform an Everyday Hoop Court into a Place of Higher Learning and You at the Podium. Or it may be that the character does change and you suddenly notice it. The main thing is be alert to these epiphanies. When you go off to read today, will you add this work to your interpretation work?